This is State Representative Jeffrey Elmore with your weekly session update for April 16th. We did not have one last week, a weekly session update, because we were on an Easter break, and I hope you had a wonderful Easter. I did go down to Raleigh and do some budget prep work since we are right in the middle of budget season, but a lot has happened in this 2-week period at the General Assembly. I want to tell you that the governor has signed two very important bills that we moved through the General Assembly. One came from our chamber, which I co-sponsored with Speaker Tim Moore. It was HB 82, Summer Learning Choice for Families. This is to make sure that summer school is offered statewide because of the learning loss that students have experienced due to COVID. We're very concerned about at-risk students being able to catch up. We also passed a Senate initiative, Excellence in Public Schools Act. This is basically a staff development bill to help with reading with our third graders. It's changing our curriculum and our training with the teachers to make it more phonics based. I think this is very important to make sure that we have every third grader is at their grade level reading where they need to be. The governor signed both of those bills. Both of those bills had almost unanimous support. The summer school bill did, and there were only 5 people that voted against the Excellence in Public Schools. So Governor Cooper did sign those, and they're now law. So that's very exciting. Some other bills that were filed this week that I think would pertain to the district. HB 535, it's Firefighters Fighting Cancer Act of 2021. What this would do would provide supplemental insurance for firefighters that have been diagnosed with cancer. This has been a big issue over the years on cancers that develop from firefighters because of the smoke and the environment that they have to deal in. Also, another interesting one that was voted on the House floor this week was HB 331. This is protection from online impersonation. I think this happens to people a lot with hackers. It's where they will assume your identity online, and then they start posting things and they act like you. It's almost like identity theft. What this would do is it makes an impersonation of an actual person over the internet for certain unlawful purposes a Class H felony. So if it's very systematic, they can be charged with a felony with this. This passed the House chamber this week. Now it'll move over to the Senate. A couple of bills that I filed this week, because we're approaching bill filing deadline, is replace the EOC with the National Assessment. This is kind of the testing reduction 2.0. I've worked my entire time down there to try to reduce the standardized testing that the kids experience in school. This is another wave of that. It's looking at the high school EOCs, what the kids are having to take at the high school level, and trying to reduce that down to where they're only taking one test, which currently that would be the ACT, which is a college prep test that they can use for college admissions. That we would use the data from that test to meet the federal law versus having 5 or 6 tests. I think this is a good step. I'm already in talks with the State Superintendent, Catherine Truitt, on some of her ideas. And this bill will, of course, have a little bit more work and be moving through. Something that's going to be heard this coming Tuesday, that is a bill that I filed, HB 545, mandatory training counting as CEUs. This is very important for our teachers. We are required each year to take numerous trainings on bloodborne pathogens, school intruder, OSHA regulations, and it's several hours of training, and we do not get any credit for it or anything, but we are required to take it for our employment. What this would do is it would allow those to count towards our continuing education credits. It's a very simple bill. I don't hear any controversy with it, so I'm excited for that, and to help the teachers get some credit for some stuff that they have to do for their continuing education credits. A couple of things on the local level that I'd like to talk about. Over the Easter break, I had to file a bill dealing with partisan school board elections for Alexander County. I had to file that bill due to a bill filing deadline. They had the public hearing for that Monday of this week, and the Board of Commissioners voted that idea down. That was the process that they wanted to happen. that they wanted the bill to be considered, and I told them that they needed to have a public hearing and get public input. They decided after the public hearing not to pursue the bill. The bill cannot be retracted because it's filed, but it can be put on hold. I've already talked with the chairman of local government committee, and the bill will be put on hold indefinitely. I appreciate the work of the county commissioners getting the input from the public on a very localized issue of that nature, and I appreciate working with them on the process to figure out how best to move forward. That was in the Taylorsville Times today, explaining all that. Also, something else at the local level that I wanted to talk about is very exciting. The Governor's Crime Commission is an entity that distributes grant funds, and the whole 94th District got various grants, and I just wanted to highlight some of those. The Alexander County's Sheriff's Department got some school safety equipment to deal with school shooters, etc. The Wilkesboro Police Department received some equipment grants for that, for active shooter equipment also. The Wilkes Child Advocacy Center also received a little over $200,000, and there's several other grant monies that were received here. It almost totals about $500,000. So it's always good to see additional funding come into District 94 for these type needs. Next week will be another busy week at the General Assembly, and look forward to the next update.